it is Ben here from Second Dynasty. I'm making a cryo sleep chamber, or as they call it in Traveller, a low berth. I'm not really. I'm refurbishing an old model, and I already kind of showed off what it is for. But still, anyway, I'm Ben from Second Dynasty. With me I have AlBen.
What up?
And in the ether we have John from John Games. I think. You might have been muted. That wasn't coming through for some reason. In any case, there you are. Say hi, John.
Hi, John.
Hi, John.
That's it. He's now performing as expected. In the background, of course, we have Lisa-Lot, but she's doing ultra secret work. Wave your hand in the ether, Lisa-Lot. There you go, right behind me. Great. So, this is actually our second last day in our old office. And you can see behind AlBen it's very empty. Because we're in the process of moving. The removalist coming on Monday. And yeah, then we'll be getting set up in our new office. So hopefully next week we will be running a live stream on Thursday at the regular time, but from our new office. Although at the moment we don't have any internet finished. So, damn it, why didn't I turn off my mail program? Let's see if I can do that without. There we go. Close.
Your female program instead.
Haha.
Oh, that's
So funny. Alright. Where are we moving to? We're moving to the town I live in, Vanishboro. We have found some new offices there. This room is about 20 square meters. Our new room will be 25 square meters, but we're sharing it with Hannes and Eleanor, both of which have worked on our projects before. So we'll have our own sort of, not building, but wing of a building that's just us and just for making cool shit. Hannes, of course, works with the Wintergatan YouTube channel and does the video clipping for us. Eleanor is an animator, has worked on many motion films, motion pictures, and is a lead animator. And she has also done some of the designs for the characters we used in our last Traveller Kickstarter when we did 28mm ones.
Oh, Microtron says hi.
Hey, Mick. Yellow, back at you. So, we haven't done as much as I would like in the last week, mostly because we have done a little bit of packing and back and forth and that sort of thing. It's to be expected. We were expecting this. Of course, it's also sadly Peter's last week. Tomorrow is his final day. Yeah, we've been working on some new models. Found some issues with older ones. That's been taking up a lot of AlBen's time.
Great fun.
It seems like
Lovely time.
we have not standardized the hex keyholes for the 270mm, and apparently some of the tactical ones as well, so that they are wildly mismatching in some cases. So we're in the process of trying to standardize all of that. Yeah, I've been working on the Benowulf, which we'll be looking at shortly. And I've also been working on, with John, and also Maya was crashing with it, but here is our little Cerberus model. Let me make myself larger.
I take no credit on that. It's beautiful.
It is. The turrets down the bottom are not quite scaled right. And I had some misprints at the back, which you can kind of see. I've left some stringing in there on the engines there. These parts don't really fit together properly. But I am in the process of printing out those replacement parts. So again, the real achievement here, I feel, is these side turrets. Because that... God, I really suck at getting this close to the camera. Come on. Alright. So these turrets rotate. Haha, look at that.
Beautiful.
No glue.
They're
just
synchronized.
They are synchronized. The front ones too. Bit stiffer, but they work.
Apparently you have pretty nails.
They need cutting.
Full brain, go back to your page.
cult creepers telling me I've got the pretty nails.
We don't have a cult anymore. We
It's
got rid
cult
of that.
room. Why? What happened to the cult again? Oh, that's right. You found out my full name is Benjamin, and you said you needed to disband the cult.
We can't have you as a figurehead. I'm sorry.
I'm disappointed, John. You promised me a legion of followers. You ended up getting about 7 people, which is actually more than I expected. All right. So yeah, I'm basically hiding what we've made in progress this week, which is actually quite a lot. So the main things that I have done here, AlBen, do you want to be visible or invisible?
Go with whatever you feel is right with you.
I mean,
So you can turn me off.
let's. Well, what do people want to see? AlBen just staring at the screen? Or why don't we go over to John actually? John, are you screen sharing? You are. Let me just. I forgot to mention that John has been working on stuff, and I need to make this a pop out. Where's the pop out button gone? Come on, pop out button. Seriously, why can't I see this? Exit full screen. Is the pop out disabled if the chat? No, there it is. I found it. I found it, guys. It's all right. I found it. All right, let me hide this. And now you should be able to see that John's work this week.
Well, this is actually this goes back last week, I guess.
I'm gonna hide AlBen.
I make fun. Leave me be.
Low birth.
The Type J Seeker instructions were done. When will the Type J Seeker be released, Ben?
It has been released.
It's been released now.
Well,
the
the 0.95 version of it, I think, has been released. I don't want to confuse it with the other ship we did last time.
How do I do this? Okay, here's how you work the software. I don't know how to work stuff.
Sorry.
I love the instructions in this one, and I worked with Ben, and he helped guide and make them way better than they were.
Yes,
Yeah.
indeed.
You're allowed to see. We're allowed to see you. It's wonderful. I'm so excited. The new type. I'm just gonna zoom ahead. Whee! But does it have the print instructions already ready that Elise has been working on?
No, that's why it's not 1.0 yet. So it's the next ship she'll do once. I can't remember if she started on it yet or if.
I love these tiny little instruction pieces that you see here.
Yes.
It doesn't look that great quality, but just being told this 4 floats do not clip in. I really hope people stop clipping in the I think was it called engineering or power? What's it called? This depth.
Technically, they call it the drive compartment, I think.
But yeah, I could just highlight it. I forgot it. All of these say drive compartment in there.
They do indeed. It's still a bit fiddly anyway. Like it's hard to sort of lift off. Mostly because those.
Well, unfortunately, after testing, it seems you have to take these walls out too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But it's still easier to lift out 2 walls than to unclip an entire deck and take apart the ship. So.
Yeah. And then we go wedge clip. Rotate.
And those just twist in a little bit as well to hold in place.
It even says that. It says to rotate into place.
It does.
Probably should say twisted, but oh well.
Well, rotate isn't incorrect.
This instruction is my least favorite one because it's not clear that slides into that. But oh well.
Yeah, I think Lisa doesn't like those parts either.
Yeah. This is my favorite new change where we show the part, we explodify it. I love that part. And then seeing it like at the same time. I much prefer that style than what we had earlier.
It's too bad the stream's really shitty quality today, but Oh well.
I don't. It's my computer, and I'm currently running the Unity Hub and Unity Editor, and running a model export at the same time. So my computer is at its capacity on the processor. So it's you're getting the terrible encoder.
This is my fault for when you mocked me to say like, "Oh, I don't get to be on the show," and I said, "Get
Oh,
on the
that was
show."
yeah. Sorry, it's terrible quality, but Ben could have shown you through his version. I should
I
have shown
can't.
you.
I could do that. I could totally do that. Wait,
All
didn't I
right,
do
I'm
that
gonna
last
share.
week? I might have done that last week. I can't remember.
Explodify is totally an English word, J Slider. I would not be corrected.
I think Explodify should be used. Thank you, John. Is there anything else you want to show us that's spiffy in the show, like these new transformations?
Oh yeah. So this is just a minor change, but one that really helps people out. We're still set a little too big, but you now have access to local transforms instead of global. So instead of like always having to move on the x-axis on the global one, you can now move on the side one instead, based on where it's pointing.
Well, that makes placement a lot easier for these strange pieces.
Exactly, and you can rotate, and you can do multi-rotate. So it uses the whichever one you click on. I don't like how big these are. I need to adjust that. But you can hold shift to do like.
I
You see
don't
how it
know what you
rotates both of
mean,
them?
John. I can barely see it.
Oh, but they rotate together based on whichever one you click.
That's
They
excellent.
respect each other's positions.
We like respect here at Second Dynasty.
Anyway, yeah, it's rotatify.
Indeed,
That's it.
Dropbox
That's
is
all
going
I
crazy.
got.
I'm gonna pause Dropbox for a bit, I think, because it's just it's AlBen keeps updating it. Wait, what am I doing?
Click on the bell. I don't know.
Is it
Try
next?
random stuff.
Ah, John. Wait, I think this is partially crashed
Oh,
because it's not right. You can't right click into the menu. All right, I'm gonna leave it off. AlBen, stop working. No, I'm kidding. Wait, I need to return my beautiful face to the stream. There we go. Right, guys. Oh, look, you put it in outer space. Well, orbit, I guess. That's not outer space, but still. Looking good. Oh, wow. Deck design is coming along, isn't it? Alright.
it sure do be. Okay,
Thank-
now take it away, sir.
Thank you for sharing that. Now let's look at what people are here to see. Beowulf development. So, a number of things have happened since last time. Quite a few, actually. The main things is some complete pieces. They're not detailed, but they should technically be printable at this point. So we've got our forward landing gear. We have our support rods, or the channel for that, because these clip holes are going to be fairly flimsy and it's going to be front heavy even with a built-in landing gear. I do not think this time that we will make an articulated landing gear. Maybe as a stretch goal, but not up front. That was kind of insane to do. Even though AlBen did a fantastic job of it, but you know, we were talking about the time we spent on the Type S, and 900 hours or 1,000 hours is way overboard. Now AlBen did do a block out, so he's probably spent a couple of weeks on this or more beforehand doing some research. I've spent, well, since the beginning of January on this thing, maybe a little bit before in the days between Christmas and New Year's. But the major changes from last week is you'll notice that a lot of these corridors are now just, they're still in a sort of block out phase. This, by the way, is the base for the character miniatures we have, so I just wanted to see that there's enough clearance to get them in the corridors, because we're not able to always offer, you know, a full inch. Currently I'm working on the low berths. We did have 3 on this side and 7 on this side. It felt cramped. There's supposed to be 20 in that space. But since we had expanded the ship, essentially this astronics and sensors section was meant to start here, right? And there was meant to be like 2 crew cabins that we were moving to the center of the ship. Previously on the outsides of the ship, when it had a central landing gear, we moved it to have 2 landing gear because, you know, the forward landing ramp here, which you can only see half of at the moment in the blockout, that forward landing gear would prevent you from actually putting cargo onto the ship through it. So we still may take this lower section and have something that's tapered or a longer ramp maybe. We will see. Just to get more of a sort of like angle for that cargo to get in. But in I like where we're at with the cargo cavities. We're reusing a lot of the stuff in the Type S, which is saving a lot of time. We have also a creative solution for Deck 2, where we're supposed to have... Let me just turn on the deck plan for Deck B. So we're supposed to have the vault and the ship's locker on the opposite side. And they are absolutely claustrophobic small. Like, they're supposed to have a door here. If we turn on where the hull is meant to be, you can see there's a lot of intersection. There's no head clearance. My solution has been to, like, we're not going to have this kind of door, but we will have, some kind of smaller vault door here. But if we take off this top hull, we actually drop down into this area. So you do actually have some standing space. You've got a full square basically here. Then you've got like 1.5 squares there, which sort of brings it in line of the kind of size of the vault we have on the Type S. And you could conceivably get a guy down there. You'd have, you know, all your guns. I guess if we're talking about the ship's locker on the other side, up against the wall or something, so someone could get in the crawl space, hand out the guns to other people and that sort of thing. It's not the most convenient thing in the world, but it is a little bit more manageable. And in fact, to make this a little bit, let's see, where do we go? Let's unreference this deck plan so we can actually grab these. Mesh. We're going to detach, and then we're going to just, aligning to the grid now, we're going to just move this down so it's on the same level there. Basically so that our plan follows suit. And this isn't really cheating, because the deck plans don't really show very well the ups and downs from a side view. So...
You also brought up several of these things with Mark Miller, and you even got permission to make some of the adjustments, wasn't there?
I got permission to lengthen the ship for the sake of aesthetics. And, basically, the major thing... I'm going to turn this off again, so that we can look down into the deck. The main thing is, it was completely unrealistic to have 20 of these tubes in here. Even if my understanding is like you would have some kind of configuration in like a square. In an ideal situation, let's take a full square here. Let's see, we have a base maybe that we can take. So there, and then if we grab one of these and move this over here, you can see it's a real mess at the moment. That's what we would expect. If in ideal situation you would have something like, I want to say this. So let's put that at 45 degrees there. Align that. Bring that back, something like that. Maybe a bit further forward or something like that. And then we would just honestly take this. Let's go 45 there instead. So facing a different direction. Like that's probably not the best thing, but you would essentially, you can have, see the idea here is to have like something like this, right? So you would have 4 in a sort of pod, Now this isn't well aligned or anything like that, but let's freeze the transformations on these ones, just so we can easily place them out a bit. Let's get that to the center of the square. So this is still maybe a bit too claustrophobic. I should be looking at this from the top, really. Something's not adding up.
Blasted Camouflage suggested that the new type of low berth would be vacuum packing.
Maybe this is like the a more exploded version of it, but yeah, you could essentially fit 4 in if they're standing up like this. I mean, it would be very cramped, but for the model that we have here, it's quite unreasonable to be fitting, 5 squares worth of that in and still have some kind of workable med bay or a clinic. So really here, we did have like this machine that we were going to have under the stairs, and then just like 10 of these in here, and then I decided like if we moved one of the crew rooms, this one to the side, put a corridor in, could have a row of 5 more there, and then a little room in this new space, which is like, I don't know, I guess it's about 6 by 2 inches, so 12 inches of new space here. It's spread out. That we could, take advantage of that, and it won't feel as claustrophobic. So we still fit in all of the systems that are listed in the stats for the ship. The ship itself will be, I think it's just 3 inches longer, so instead of 25 inches, it's 28 inches. What's the head clearance in the forward crew cabin? Complete. It's full clearance. You can see here, here's the top. So the hull is very much aligned. See? No worries whatsoever. There's in fact a lot more room in there than there needs to be. This is not necessarily the final configuration, it's just to sort of like give an indication of what's in there. So yeah, we're working on some of those tubes because I want to make, like, we had this very simplistic cylinder. That's not how I roll. So we had our existing sort of, this is the original version. We've increased the fidelity a little bit, and now I'm sort of just working on a version that's a bit more upright and a bit more narrow, so it's going to fit into basically a 1/2 inch.
Jag slightly wonders what's above the bridge.
What's above the bridge?
Sorry, and above that is the bridge.
Yes, above here is the bridge. We can turn on the hull again. We can turn on deck B, and you can see even the. My nose is really itchy today for some reason. Here we have the bridge. It's in the exact same position it's been designed to have. So the bridge ends essentially here. There are a few more placements than shown here. So the captain would be in between, and then we'd have 2 gunner positions at the back here. So yeah, basically you can kind of see here where the window eye level is at. We could look at the front of the ship here, I suppose, if we... Like, the scene is a mess, but you can kind of see where the eye line is of the pilots, right? So, these might be slightly lower down, I don't know yet, but I think the shape of the ship is looking very nice, even if I do say so myself. So we've been cutting these up in sections, basically so that the hull ends where the ceiling is in those individual sections. We're getting these tubes here for, there'll be some minor sort of like protrusions here on the lower hull. I don't see that as a negative thing. We'll just integrate it into the design. Let's see. Question about the med bay. Does Traveller have auto docks because you wouldn't be able to do much in the way of treating with the layout of the med bay? I believe it does. Certainly at certain tech levels it does, yes. I mean, it's not a practical size, but it's not a hospital. It's just like an area where if you're injured you could get some basic treatments. I need to sort all all of these levels out a little bit, but yeah. So we've taken in the medical components that we used in the Sleipnir, and before that, I think we actually did those for the Chimera as stretch goals. So I felt this felt more like a med bay now, with just 7 of these in there and the others sort of distributed throughout the ship. The other major thing was figuring out where to do the landing gear, and I haven't figured out yet if these will actually be like shown here, that it's actually just the door, or if maybe these could be actual pads themselves. I'm not sure yet. So we still need the infrastructure anyway for putting the landing gear in, and I'm just trying to think about structurally how that will work. So basically we have the skeleton pieces, you might say, for these 2 parts of the hull here. I started work today on this piece. The partition walls are going to work a lot like the Type S. So the idea is to make it as friendly towards the original deck plan as possible. I think the best bed bay was on the Serenity, 1 surgery bed surrounded by storage. Obviously this ship doesn't allow for that. I did consider taking, like, these are the beds from the Sleipnir. Obviously not quite 100% Rocinante inspired, but it is a claustrophobic med bay, but there's still enough room that it feels like a med bay. But ultimately, it's just the fact that these low berths are meant to be in the med bay that I've decided to make it a bit bigger. Well, actually, make use of this extra space. What do you guys think of this solution? I feel like it's a good compromise.
I think it makes sense not to put them all in the same room, even if you could. Just think about the safety implications. 1 carefully placed torpedo, and all those people are dead.
Yeah. So, Jay Slattery was asking if we could share the deck plan of the extended hull overall. I mean, you're looking at it. We don't have a deck plan like this. This is the original deck plan. I believe this section was like here somewhere, so there should be like 3 inches missing, I believe. Maybe 2. I could try and dig up. I don't have it open at the moment, but I could try and dig up the deck plans here. Let me put this over there. We want to go into Traveler 1, source images. Source images. Where are you? Can't read today. We're going to have a slightly shorter session today because I don't have much time today. But reference, let's see, Beowulf. Author views. Here we go. So here's the original layout. Grey background, I guess that's a PNG. There. Okay. So here's the free treater Beowulf originally. So we're talking about deck C here, which is the bottom deck. So the original layout, we had stairs up to the 2nd level here, but as I mentioned in the last session, the crew quarters that are off the crew commons here, we're really wasting a lot of space on these stairs, and you know, it was not realistic to have 2 cryopods underneath the stairs. There's just simply not enough overhead room. So technically, we're actually got less now. But these crew quarters, like I said, we've moved that, and essentially we've added 3 inches in here, right? Sorry, 2 inches. Something like that. So if we, again, look at the changes, so the central landing gear would have been here. And essentially we've just extended the ship by, well, on the actual grid it's only 2 inches, so it's just these extra 2 rows here really. There he goes again, AlBen adding things to Dropbox. Oh, by the way, guys, we are going to have some releases this week, and we will do a proper update tomorrow when we have a little bit more time. So we're going to have... oh, we can show off the model that Peter made.
Yeah.
Let's... can you pass it over?
Yeah, sure.
It's on your desk.
Oh.
Here we go. This bad boy is looking good. Let's see, that turret is rotating a bit. But, yeah, very nice model, I feel. Good size. We don't have the gig actually attached to it, the design at the moment. I don't know if we'll add it in later or something like that, maybe in a future rendition of it. But I just wanted to show that off. So that will be released. AlBen is currently working on the science ship, the lab ship, the Type L, yeah, exactly. And yeah, that will probably be done at the start of next week sometime, I'd imagine, looking at the progress that he's got through. So yeah, we'll be trying to put out more ships. Obviously the Cerberus will be out this week, and we're, yeah, updating those files has taken up a bit of time and that sort of thing, so we're hoping to get that down. I'm hoping to keep, or at least subcontract a few of the ships to Peter so that we can get it done a bit quicker for you guys, but we'll see how it all goes. So, those are the major changes. I'm going to have to add the airlock here. The downside of the aesthetics that we were going for, if I unhide the hole here. So this is the Mega Traveler version that we sort of thought was the sort of optimal sort of hull plating and look. But unfortunately it doesn't really give us room to put the airlock exactly where it was in the original version, like you can see it here. So we'll probably just place the airlock here, so it'll be slightly angled. But that might not be the worst thing, because here we could have our reception desk, then you've got your elevator up, so you would greet passengers through the airlock, point them to the lift, and then they could continue up to the passenger commons, which of course we have not detailed yet. It always makes sense when you're designing something in 3D to start with the base of the ship, because that's structurally the part that you want to have to be the strongest. So we're definitely going to have supports in here. I'll probably provide some files so that you could print those supports if you don't want to go the full Monty and or the full go all out and get actual aluminium model aircraft rods, which would probably be stronger, but even if you print this in like PLA flat on the bed, it should be quite strong. Is the lift door opening in the reception room or from the cargo bay? It can open from both sides. So I'll probably have to think about where it opens up. I'm not sure in the deck plans. So you can see here it's got an airlock on that side and then a door on the other. And then next level up, it's opening up there. Third level up, it's opening up there. Yeah, okay, so we'll probably have, like, this section will be where we'll have the track for it. But we do want to make it so that it lifts out easy, so I don't know if we're going to have it working in practice or not. We'll see. Let's see. So, the... yeah, cargo bay and engineering is a lot more straightforward, mostly because it's fairly undetailed. Actually, there's a lot of wasted space. Not wasted, really, because it's a place where fuel would go and whatnot, but just areas that we're not going to detail. So despite the size of the ship, the bulk of the detail is going to be in the crew commons, in the passenger commons, these sort of, the bridge, the front portion of the ship especially. So yeah, I think it's it's a lot of fun to work on so far. And actually, I've gotten further than I thought I would get so far. So I'm just going to use what little time we have left, probably 10 or 15 minutes, to continue working on this mesh. I've just rotated it slightly to get it to stand. For some reason, when I try to rotate this, it takes forever. Right, something like that. We should be seeing in the hole that certain versions, this one I believe, is instanced. So it should look just like the one we just had. So I'm just making it stand a little bit. We'll have to make sure that this isn't intersecting with the ceiling. I think it is a bit thick on the top. Size wise, I mean, it would be cramped, right? It would be cramped for someone to get in there, but they could do it. So I'm just going to move him away. Just a figure for scale. Although obviously that represents someone that is a bit taller. But yeah, in general these are to represent the features we want to have on board the ship. Obviously we can't have these so that they open. We can't have them so that they are, you know, perfect representations of what they're supposed to be. But we can make it so that, you know, they make sense. So I might be inclined... Look at all of this mess. This is an older file from a time when I didn't know what I was doing as much. So one of the reasons that was slow to respond was just because it had way too many edge loops. So I'm actually going through and getting rid of a couple. I have to be careful though, because you can kind of see from all of this that it hasn't been done in a proper way. So control delete. Let's see, I need to move that shift. Is the lift door opening in the reception room or from the cargo bay? Oh, that one I just answered. At best it is 3 meters wide. What's 3 meters wide? Let's see, or 3 feet, right? The pod, yeah. Well, it's 75 centimeters, isn't it? So, if each square is 1.5 meters, it's about 75 centimeters wide. However, if you were sitting in a chair that was 75 centimeters wide, I mean, that's about the height of a table off the ground. That is actually quite wide for most people. You know, maybe the beefiest people alive wouldn't fit very well, but most people would. So again, just getting rid of all of these unnecessary edge loops, but I'm trying to do it in such a way to make sure that just keeping an eye on where the parts are getting deleted from, because sometimes they'll end up on a part of the mesh that's just completely on the opposite side of it. See if we can find something that triggers that. It's looking good so far, so I can delete those. The idea is to simplify the mesh, basically, because if all of these, like, if you look at these edge loops, right, they're completely flat. We just do not need that kind of detail. Really, the only reason why I increased the fidelity was to get more of a curve out of the actual, like, dome, right? So I would ideally like to make this shorter. I'm actually going to go through and delete these sections, because I want to go and grab these edge loops and delete them to make them just one simple section. And ideally, we're also going to get rid of all this crap around here and see if we can clean that up. So, and then when we're finished, we can easily bring this down a bit further so it's a little bit more cramped. And then when we're finished, we could maybe, like, this would be a good place to widen the gap, right, between the top and the bottom part. We could just add another loop here that will give us a bit more height and make it feel like our character can fit in all right. So Sorry, sir, you'll have to upgrade to the mid passage as you're too large for the low berth. I like that. That whole circle section could be redone as 2 meshes in 3MF and it would still spit out a good... Yes, John. Yes, 3MF, I know.
Hey, that's my new cult. Join me.
It is. You've abandoned me for 3MF. Thank you. Alright, so I think I'm just going to get rid of this top line. If I look here, we should be able to just take these, get rid of them. And then if I angle this just right... got a few unwanted faces, but we'll delete that. So the idea being here that this is now separate. So what we could technically do is, again, just isolate this and get rid of some of these unnecessary faces. We only really need to get the ones that are hugging here, but because of these strange deformations, it could cause us some trouble. Alright, that looks alright now. See, this is not much of a great selection, but as long as it's avoiding going into the actual object, well, like the, whatever you want to call this thing. We can see here that we've got some unnecessary lines as well. Ideally, I want to get rid of these edge loops, but we've got this crazy shit happening. And that would be because, you know, it wasn't fully quadrangulated. So now I should be able to grab these. And we should be able to delete them. And then we can maybe look at, let's see. Trying to think what the best approach is for this.
Can't you just delete everything and just extrude the new round edge?
Well, you can actually see that the one part that is different
Okay. So
is the edge. Yeah. So, and that's to account for the curvature here. So, technically, yes, I could, but I will shoot myself in the foot for it. What I'm thinking maybe the best solution is to rebuild this geometry around it first. The first thing I might actually do is move this down. So we want to grab that, and we'll just grab any one of these. Like we're setting the snap to any one of these lines, and it should come down nicely. And then we probably want to get it to about there. And then if we grab this section, and again do the same, we're going to align, we're going to go into modifying the pivot points, but then we're going to set it to here so that we're coming down at that angle, the same angle. Ooh, that is very slow for some reason. Alright, so we've got it in position, and we should be able to see the difference here, right? And the ceiling, this should not interact with the ceiling now. I'm just going to duplicate this to move it over the top so we can see exactly how much room we have to play with. We can go all the way up until it hits the top. That'll just improve our supports, right? In Blender, that would have done with this. Yes, Blender. Maybe it's a good thing the cult is over. I'm just going to grab a couple of these just so that we can close off the maximum amount. It may be worth adding in another ring again just to bifurcate this, right? But basically the aim was to get rid of all of these unnecessary polygons, and this is already greatly reduced. If we look at the original, you can see how much crap is completely unnecessary here. All those thick lines are now these sort of like single polygons with the sides being more sort of like, yeah, words failing me.
It's simpler, and it looks the same.
Yes, that's what I'm
Optimize.
trying to achieve, John. That's what I'm trying to achieve. So, this is a slow boat way of doing this. Wait, why isn't that working? That usually says to me we've got some unwanted vertices, but it doesn't look like it. Yeah, there's something wrong there. No worries, we will just rebuild this. Oh, okay, this wasn't welded together properly.
That would be a non-manifold edge. No.
I can see why I don't invite John back to the session every week, but yeah. Of course, I'm just kidding, John. You're always welcome.
I love you too.
I enjoy your antics on occasion. Okay, so I'm actually going to switch to our other model here. Mostly because I want to be able to see where this ceiling is. So, again, this is an instance. When I select this, you can see it's being selected in the background where the other model is. So I'm just going to grab this, and again, I'm going to align it to one of these lines because we know that they go in an exact direction, right? So if we go up, it should go up. Let's see. Now, the computer is just suffering a little, so if we put that there, we now have this nice band around the middle. And that's going to be longer, and when we get our dude to come in, he at least doesn't look too short. You know, if he gets his arms down properly, I think he might be able to fit. He could. It'll be a tight squeeze, but you know he's going to be frozen anyway. Like, I don't know.
It's not like they have to move.
Exactly.
I also kind of like the approach that you care about, because there's been some popular video games that have come out where the pieces on the set, you know, the scenery are not the size of the people, and it's like distracting. Like everything is too small.
Yep. That sounds about right. Do you want to call out anyone in particular, John? I think you should. Shame them.
Nah. But I like that second night with Ben, you've always cared about the scale of the universe has to make sense.
That's
Things
right.
have to, yeah.
That's important to me, that things make sense. Like, I know that myself, when I watch science fiction, that if something doesn't look right, or is impractical, or doesn't make sense in the context it's presented in, it drives me nuts. Case in point, Alien Covenant and that stupid platform.
I did not like the Power Rangers in Boba Fett.
I have to admit, I did not like that either. It feels like it's a completely different aesthetic that just doesn't really fit.
Should be on Coruscant.
Maybe.
Coruscant, I don't know how to say the name.
Yeah, Coruscant, I would say. But I have to agree that was. It took me out of it a little.
And the chase sequence, it was like they were going like 10 miles an hour. It was so slow.
It was, but you know, that's already been established in Star Wars, John. Slow chase sequences. There are some rumors going around that the gang they're having trouble with in Aurebesh, the alphabet used in Star Wars, that symbol they're painting into the side of buildings is a K.
Oh no!
It is, and in the desert, when you're first in episode 1, this is not too much of a spoiler, but when they're looking for water, and they see that homestead is being raided, they write KK. So I don't know if it's an inside joke, deliberate or not, but it's pretty damn funny if it is.
So you're still going to keep it to where they're all merged?
I think so. Like, well, no.
Okay.
What I'm gonna do is take the edge here, and then once I have an edge, I'm gonna delete these loops and reconnect them.
Oh, okay. I get it now.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to figure out.
But it's kind of like I have to sort of figure out where the hard edges are, like what, because I'm gonna have to take some stuff out here. We're definitely not gonna get this done today, and in fact, I need to sort of end things. I have a Warhammer game tonight. I have to go to Vanishpor. I have to get my wife, or rather, go home to the dog and dog sit for a few hours before I can come back into town and play tonight. So, shorter session, although we are only 9 minutes less than what we normally are. This will still take a good hour or so to get patched up to the sort of like level I want it to be. This is not going to get done today. But let us know what you think of this new layout. I think it's a good solution for the Beowulf. It makes the ship feel maybe a little bit labyrinthine, but in a good way.
Have you seen a submarine plan? They're labyrinth.
Oh, yes.
I love this. The Beowulf is probably my favorite ship thus far. Just because of how it's so... I'm not used to Traveler. I mean, what do you think thus far when you're looking at it, Ben?
To be honest, I didn't used to like it. But now that I've sort of figured out how to do it, I feel like we've got a very nice hull shape. We're going to be able to be loyal to the original design. We're pretty loyal to the floor plans, and actually, you know, like, I feel like this will be very playable compared to the Type S. Like, there's places that you can hide your figurines, you know, draw out combat throughout the ship. You've got a big cargo area in the hold, multiple levels, and of course you'll be able to lift out those levels. The only downside about lifting out the levels is that at the front here they are on different tiers, so that could be somewhat of an issue. Maybe we need to have some kind of like print support so that you can put it down on the table and it'll just hold it up on the sort of like multi tiered
I would
levels.
love that. Like you could bring the whole ship together onto the playmat and then lift and put them on like a stair step looking support piece.
Yeah, something like that. Like yeah, just all of these up and down, you know, half an inch sort of levels here.
That actually helps with the mental load of remembering where you actually are on the ship by seeing that stair step. You think, oh, this lines up with this stair step.
Indeed, it does. So yeah, share your thoughts with that on our Discord. You can, if you're on Twitch, you can look down the bottom. We have a link to it, just on my sorry, not Twitch. Yeah, Twitch. Yeah, Twitch page has a link to the Discord. Otherwise, I guess you can leave a comment or something in the chat. We're going to have to jet for today, but we'll be back next week from a brand new location. All right, AlBen, say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Lisa, wave. John, say say goodbye, John.
I did. That was the shutdown noise.
Okay. Yeah, that explains so much, doesn't it? All right, bye, guys.